when I opened my eyes, I saw that my grandmother was a single parent, and she was raising her four, yeah, four children, which is my mother, my two aunts, and my uncle, who happened to be on my age. Like we were on the same age, so it was more like a twins. Like we were, because she was raising us like twins. She was buying clothes or same clothes for us, and we grew up like that. So I was young, 1 year younger than me. Um, but we were treated like we were twins. So many people couldn't even recognize or identify us. We were not this. We were not looking like the same. Like I'm just like, is that thing of saying, Kana, what's your name? Are you? Then they will be mentioning the other. I mean, my uncle's name. Then um, the only person who was not there at that moment was my mother, because she was married by then. And they always say it takes a village to raise a child. But um, in my situation, we were so poor. Um, Someone said I mustn't say poor, but we we lagged. We were disadvantaged uh, compared to our neighbors. And me, I used to go to our neighbors to eat. They used to feel pity for us, and give us food. Um, but you know how it is. Obviously, um, they want it's not every day, so they won't give you food every day or look after you every day. My grandmother was I can't say domestic worker. Yeah, she was working in various shops. Like she would be employed here. We call it supermarket in those years. She will be working there. Sometimes she'll be working far. Um, Far as in she will be coming home after a month or after 2 weeks and other stuff. So by that time, when she's not home, we used to struggle a lot. We used to uh, suffer, sort of, because there won't be food. There won't be food at home to eat. Or yeah, and we were struggling. Should I say that? And my aunt, who was the second born, had to get married fast. She had to move away from that poverty thing, and get married. And indeed, she got married and she moved away. So we were left with this the third one, the third born, my aunt, who were not who were not on the not far, because she was not. I think she was 3 years older than us, or 4 years, 5 years, 4 years. Yeah, 3 years or 4 years older than us. Um, so it was hard, and we were left with her. She had to take care of us, so we struggled a lot. I don't want to talk about her a lot, but bullied us sort of emotionally. Um, okay, physically, but we were young and she was young. We had to understand that she has now become or became a mother to us. You see, since the elders were not there, then by that the people in that area or community had to, I'm coming back to the statement or to that say of being raised by the village. They used to um, take care of us. I remember one of the mothers, one of the women there. She once told me that I I struggled to talk. I couldn't talk properly. I couldn't alter or I couldn't utter words or create a sentence. I used to call water a palapach, and even today they don't know what was that. But I had to show, I had to what they call gesture. Uh, for anything that I will want, I will have to point and say this is what I want. But I will be saying names that were not even existing by then. They said I used to call water palapach, and then that name stuck because those women even today, some of them they still calling me palapach, and then I don't know what was that, and yeah, but they were so good for us, most especially me, because my uncle he was he had some sort of a pride, should I say pride, but he couldn't go to the family to those families or our neighbors to ask for food. Same applies to my aunt. But me now, I was like so friendly. They liked me so much. My friends, my peers, we used to eat together. Particularly, my uh, Godwin. I think it's Godwin Mawai, who were a very close neighbor. Then, yeah, we became friends. We became brothers. And yeah, my grandmother was working far. She would come back home late. I mean, after 2 weeks, after a month, and then we had to pretend that we were happy when she's back, as if we are not suffering, as if our aunt is treating us well. But in the actual fact, she was not. Um, but we I personally had to improvise. We had to deal with the situation, accepted that we didn't have um, things that our neighbors had. It was a one roundabout, like we call it a house, but it's a one roundabout. We were sleeping there, all of us, even our neighbors. They used to come and sleep there. It was a good environment because there was only radio. We had the radio where we'll be listening stories in those years. But there were the TV. We had to go to our neighbors to watch it. So I mean, I was so active in football. Like I used to like football. I would create football, and then we invite all those uh, peers or the other children to go and play in the street. I think that's how I learned how to play football. I don't think maybe I was talented per se. I was a god gifted talent, but because of the dedication and uh, the passion that I had in those time, I became a star. Yeah, I became a star because of that. Yeah, so we used to play like that, and then the years were going, and we were growing up. So when I was doing standard 3, 4, we used to go home to eat. Remember during break, and my aunt, yo, my aunt will eat the food, and then we will go back to school, and we will just put a Vaseline to pretend as if we ate. Um, yeah, it was very painful, but we, that's why, as I said, we had to accept the the situation. Um, I used to go to my mother, who was not. It was a walking distance where she was married, or where she was staying. I used to go there, and then she would give me food, not always, but she would give me food, and told me that I must eat fast before my stepfather comes back. Then I realized that he uh, didn't like the idea of me coming there, or the idea of me staying there. I tried to go and stay with them. I remember when I was doing standard 5, 4, 5. Yes, but it didn't work. The treatment and the other stuff forced me to go back to my grandmother. Then um, standard 5. Then the situation forced me to uh, start looking for my father now. He wasn't staying. Okay, was staying far. I remember in those years, the distance. When I was young, I think I was 10, 11, 14, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, I think I was 14. But it was hard for us to walk a long distance. We were so afraid. Uh, my friend, the one I was telling you about, he was the one who suggested that I must go to my father. We must go and look for him. He had a bicycle. I remember one day after school uh, we went to my father's home. Let me say that home, because he was still staying with his parents by then. We went there, and then when we arrived there, I introduced myself to my granddad and my grandmother. Then they told me that he was in home, but they were aware of me. They knew that I existed. It was a matter of time that I come home. Then they told me that they will pass the message, and I must go to his school, his workplace, and look for him. So I remember it was so we went home. I went back home, and I didn't tell my grandmother, who by then she was waking around. She wasn't no longer coming back after days or weeks or months, but she was coming back. She was waking and come back everything. So I didn't even tell her that I went to look for my father. And then I didn't go. I didn't go to school. I mean, to my father's workplace. I until I finished my uh, uh, standard. What is that? Standard 5, man. Grade, I don't know, grade 8, I think. Then we and then I went to grade 9. Grade 9, that's where things had to change. And then I went to him. I remember when I went to the school, I went to this to straight to the staff room. I couldn't find him. He was teaching, like he was in class. They told me that I must go to this particular class. And then when I went there, I just stood on the by the door, like I just stood in. And then the learners, uh, or the pupils, we call it pupils now, learners, went crazy, uh, by seeing me there, because some of them, they knew me, and then they were so happy. I don't know whether they were so happy that I finally I finally went to my dad or something like that. Um, yeah, so he came out, and then he didn't even ask me questions. He just said, "I heard that you came." Oh, this guy is the first time we talk. It's the first time I face him. Maybe it's the first time. Yeah, it is the first time for him also to face me, to talk to me. It didn't even ask me any question. Who are you? What do you want? So that I reckon he was told that I came, and then we looked alike. Like my father and I, even if you can stand now, like you can see, like this. These are more like twins. Then he gave me 5 rand and said I should come uh, to his home, um, May on a Saturday. Yeah, and then I didn't even tell my grandmother that I went there. Only my friend knew. Because after he gave me 5 rand, I went back to school because it was during break. And then we were so excited, both of us. We bought something with that 5 rand. It was a very um good money in those years. Then on come Saturday, I went there. Actually, he took me there with his bicycle again. Yeah, and then uh, he gave me, like I found him, like he bought a uniform. I think he just assumed my age, and looked at my height and other stuff. Then he he assumed my size because it was a fit. The uniform, it was perfectly fitted. Like they fit me. It was my size in actual, and the other clothes and um some things, a lot of, yeah, things that I can use at home. That's where I now had to go and face my grandmother to tell her that, yeah, I'm from this guy. He gave me this, and she was so angry. But on the same time, or at the same time, she was relieved that he gave me some washing powders and sunlight and other things that we can use in the at home. So that's how my life changed, because it didn't take, I think it take 1 or 2 months, 3 months before I can move and stay with him at home, or at his home, because he was a breadwinner. He had some, he was he was in the firstborn, but he was the one who was working as a teacher, remember. So he was the one who was taking care of the other siblings. Actually, then I find out like he had uh, a sibling who was on my age. And then I remember that guy. He used to, um, I don't know, I can't say dislike me, but he used to. Uh, I think it was. Um, or you thought I'm gonna be replacing him because he was sort of a last, it was a last born, so maybe most of the things my dad was giving him, or he was doing a lot of things. Remember, as a firstborn, or I mean, as a last born, you tend to be treated, uh, soft. So I intimidated him, I think so, but we didn't get along for some time, and eventually, as years goes by, as time goes by, we started to we started to accept that I'm the 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 father, the son of his brother. Um, you see, so yeah, that's what happened. Then after, okay, because I was still studying there at Tungwamalozo High School, which was far, and I used to walk every day, but I would walk past my my grandmother's home, and she would give me some fat cook because she was selling those fat cooks. Then I would pass by again, go home, like this. Sometimes I will sleep that side. You see, I didn't stop um, visiting her, or you know, be present. Um, then I failed grade 9, which is standard 7. Then um, I had to change school now. So I changed the school. I went and I studied Matlori High School away, which was very close to home. Then yeah, I that's how my next phase started. And after matric, I went to UP, University of Pretoria. Uh, but the course is misbehaved. We call it misbehaved when you, because I was staying in one in Sunside. Those who studied in Pretoria, they know they know the story of Pretoria. When you are not disciplined enough, you you won't succeed, because they were in universities or technicals and other stuff, like TUT. There was TUT and other stuff. So it was said that if you do well and succeed on your studies in Pretoria while studying in one of those Pretoria tertials, it means you have won. And you so because so I had to uh, move now to Limpopo, back to Limpopo. So I applied to TEFLOP, University of Limpopo, to do media studies. And oh yeah, in Pretoria during my stay, I met one of girls. She was a bit of older to me. She was my crush, in fact. Yeah, my friend Caspi will remember this. Uh, he used to laugh at me because I was crushing on this lady, and she was bit. We were on the same age, and remember, you can't be dating the person on your same age, as in like same age. But I was crushing on him, and we used to go to a flat. Um, then I'm one of the people who are funny. I can say funny because I always create jokes. I love laughing. I always want be in an environment where we laughing, we creating jokes, we teasing each other and other stuff. By the way, when I was during my high school time, especially grade 12, I used to stand in front of the class and tease everyone, create jokes, you see, dance and other stuff. So that thing, it's in me even now. Where I am, wherever I am, I like creating jokes. But going back to the Victoria story, that lady, she like she happened to know someone in or at the SABC Munganlone FM back in Limpopo. So then she said to me, you are funny, you create jokes, and there's a show uh, at at that radio. I know the people who are hosting that show, so they create jokes. And there's this guy who's giving them jokes, like it's some sort of a 5 minutes, I think, or 3 minutes, 5 minute slot where you have to come with some jokes. And this guy is doing that. My first try by force, my first Chawuk, and then um, she introduced me to them. So they will just call, and then I would give jokes, you see, on air, something like that. Then uh, after I got accepted at the University of Limpopo, I just left. I couldn't wait. I didn't even wait for um, a year to end. I think I went there around October, November, October. Then because I wasn't doing well at that, at that university. Honestly speaking, things were not doing. Were not, you know, I was attending some classes and other stuff. And then I went to home, and then I told them like I'm going back. I'm going to Teflop next year. So I'm gonna finish these 3 months, then come January, February, I will go back. I'll go there. So during that time is when I was doing jokes over the phone. Then I met the other guy who was also doing jokes, my first joke, and then we became close. And then come next the following year, and then I went to study uh, at the University of Teflop. Then now I'm now closer to the SABC. So during um on weekend Saturday there was a show called the Banchaba Clever. It's a youth show. Where we come, we'll go there together with my friend Basan Consilia Balo. So we used to go there, and then we met other young people. Then we will uh, be part of the show. We talk about things that are affecting youth. Uh, yeah, so it went and it went and went, and then I was I can't say selected, but I was chosen sort of to be part of the drama, a radio drama that was coming. I think it was called what is it called? Oh, Justice for All. So it was a SABC thing that where we were educating people about laws and and then I got a leading role there as a mandla, a person who knows everything, who knows the law. So I was earning 500 per episode, I think. Was it 500 per episode? Something like that. So, but there was a money there. I was getting money. Um, yeah. So the interest of media started to grow, and then I started to have I started to love radio, and I thought one day I can be a radio presenter. That's how it started, the radio thing. Yeah, so it goes like that, and then uh, what happened? Yes, after I graduated, and then I went to Gauteng. So the radio thing didn't work as I thought it would, because I thought after graduating maybe I will go do some practicals, or not practicals per se, but be get a job there at SABC, because I wasn't myself. I didn't know. I've never visited Johannesburg. I didn't know any places here in Gauteng. Okay, Pretoria, well, but I didn't know a lot of places here in Gauteng. I never been been here in Soweto, wherever. So I, one of my friend, best friend, he was already this side of Gauteng. Then he um, accommodated me in one in because we were staying in a shack, so we had to stay there together. It was a something like I will never forget him because of that. We became so very close. Okay, we were friends at home because we were playing soccer together. We were so close, very very close. By the time we were at home, like we were still based on at home, we were still young, but now we were growing, and he ma- matriculated before me, and then he went um, to Gauteng. Then he started these things. That's this side. So that guy sacrificed everything. He couldn't. He would buy food. For us to eat. He wouldn't bring his girlfriend. So for me, it was a big. It was so um. What is the good word? But he was so generous to me. He the hospitality, the friendship grew, the love we had, and I may skip a lot of things next back. So maybe next time when we talk when we do this recording, I'll tell you the other things, the interest of being a soccer player or professional soccer player, and then I will tell you a lot of stories about that. But for now, that then eventually, like after some times, and then I bought a shark, because this other guy was going home. Then he said, "You can stay here, but give me this amount." Then I gave him, and I was staying there. Um, I wasn't working, but then my father was sending money for me to buy food and other stuff. So that's that's that that's how my Gauteng life started. What next? So couldn't get a job, man, for a long time after graduating. Okay, all right. I think one December, I got a job as a merchandiser. I only worked 2, 3 months, 1 month, sorry. So it was that thing of schedule thing, like uh, what happened? Oh, the guy, there's this other guy who was working there. So he had some emergencies or something. So they wanted a replacement. So I or someone to fill to fill that position for that one month. Then I remember I got paid 1,000. I think 1,000 rand. But it was a good thing because it was December time. Then managed to buy something for me, and yeah. So I bought some clothes and then go home. Be able to go home and then assisted my friend. You see, like now, like thank him. It's not. Then yeah, that's how things. My life went. Then I joined the Redness. There was this Susanan work Redness. Um, were we ending there? No, it was a sort of a training to train you for for in for employment, sort of, meaning they were training you, so they were making you ready. It was a work readiness, so ready for the work environment. You understand? And then um, what text? Yeah, so I couldn't get a job, a proper job, especially for my profession, or not profession, for my studies, my career. Uh, I tried to apply for radio jobs, for media jobs, for general works, but I couldn't get any. I wasn't lucky until 20. Yeah, until I got one. Yes, so as a call center, and then I worked there 1 year. It wasn't working for me because I was working like the salary was very small, to the extent that I was only working sort of like working with working for transport. Like I would just only buy food, and then the rest of the money will be a transport fee, or fees or whatever. So those are the things that happened on my journey. Okay, so there was this guy now, I think around 2014. He had an idea, I think. Yes, he had an idea of opening a radio station in Gyan Community Radio Station. So I don't remember who introduced me to him, because we met, and then he told me the idea. By then he was busy with the other guys. It was more like it was things that were there. You see, it's not like an idea per se, but it was implemented. There was an implementation, uh, which it was likely to a baby that was crawling, but ready to stand and walk. So it yeah, so it was happening like that. So I was introduced to him, and then he told me the things. He told me that he would like me to go there, because he was told that I'm talented and I can work there. I can be a radio presenter and other stuff. And then yeah, the radio was there. The radio was a success. And then I had to relocate, and, and went home to work in that radio station. Was hosting. Oh yeah, we went. So because it was it okay. Sorry, I wanted, I wanted, there's something that I missed. So the time we were, what we were on the process of that radio. The radio was being, has been like using those process of the radio. I met the guy Mafos again. Mafos is the one that we were doing two jokes together. Remember those years? Then when I met her, then I told him about this thing, the radio thing, because Mafos is one of the talented producers, music producers. I can say he's good on that. He's good on producing. So you he so we used to go to one of the studios. in Rivari to train. I was like, we were training how to be a presenter. We were, I don't know, I don't know if he remembers this, my first. We were training ourselves, so that when we go home, we we don't struggle. And Mr. Pre Norman Chavan, the station manager, the founder of this radio, I would like to thank him because he's the one who took us there and um introduced this broadcasting thing to us. And he uh, when we get there, he told me that we have to we must go through the auditions. Auditions, oh, okay. All right, sharp. And then I went there and then I did auditions, but I knew deep down that it okay, I can say he took me, but we came back together, right? So I auditioned. Then I remember when they do the line up, I was given a show, one show, yes, on a Saturday. So the whole week I won't be doing anything. So that show was not something that I was enjoying. It was called Golden Oldies. So I was playing old songs. And then I remember one day he said to me, I'm thinking of giving you a show, a late night show. It will be from 12 to 3. We call it a graveyard. Is it a graveyard one? Yeah, but it was some. So most people, most presenters, you can ask any presenter. They don't like that show because we 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 know that most people are asleep at that time. So it's not like you broadcasting to the ghost. That's why we say graveyard. Like, so people, you say you broadcasting to the ghost. That's why I said no, I can't. And then he said, remember, this show will be every day except weekends. So it means Monday to Friday. And then we'll have time on Saturday on weekend to do other things. And that show will suit you because your voice is unique. You're soft. I know people will use your voice to sleep because when you talk, most of them they'll fall asleep. But you can make it. You can make that show work. And I did. I can tell you after I agreed, and I made that show um, to be one of the best shows in that radio because I created sort of a vavavoom. I changed it to be a show where we can educate. We can not only educate, but we can assist people who are facing challenges um, and yeah, people who are facing challenges in their relationships and marriages. They can call in, then we or me and together with the other listeners, we can come with a solution, a possible solution. And people were interested in that, and it became one of the great shows. And people liked the idea, and they were calling. You see, people were calling. Sorry for that. I'm trying to, yeah. So people were calling, and we were assisting, like we were helping a lot of people, a lot of listeners. So because my body, you can see even now, my body was I was a slender, very very slender by then. Now I gained a bit. So my Mr. Pre, the station manager said, there are a lot of people who wanna see you face to face. but I refused because I don't want them to see that the a person they telling the problems and their situations. I don't want him. I don't want them to see that kind of a person, or kind meaning the stage, because they may stop. So I always say you are not around. So you mustn't tell like that you are the one who's hosting that song. To most especially to the elder people, because they won't the show will the listenership will go down, and they may lose interest. And yes, that's what happened. They only saw me when when they bid the farewell to me, because they did bid the farewell to say, we want to meet him, we want to thank him, we want him. Even though they begged me, so they begged me not to go. I I felt like I wasn't growing, like, but I wanted some challenges because I was how things sick. They say it's not a homesick, but I thought everything's happening this side. Uh, and there was a potential job, like there was an employment that was I was promised in that moment, in that time. Not promised per se, but my uncle used to tell me that I must come and work as a retail industry, but I used to refuse. So then I came back to Gauteng after GSR, and I left in a in a good manner. We didn't fight with the station manager. He was so happy that I'm leaving. Everyone was happy. Even now, if I can go back and say I'm back, I will be welcomed, I guess. And yeah, then I came back. I think it's 2015. Then the next year, I got a job in one of these retail stores. Then that's where things started to change. I was earning enough, bought a car, everything, and other stuff. I don't want to miss to talk about the other parts, but some of the things we will talk on the next um, on the next episodes, if there will be a, a next episode, but where we can touch on the things that I left out. Uh, yeah. So the 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 issue of not the issue, the idea of writing a book came uh, after I realized that there a lot of people. I mean, during the show on radio, I realized that a lot of people facing challenges in their relationships and marriages. So why not take all those challenges and the possible solutions and put in a book, and then I didn't have a name by then. Then I wrote the book. I think it took me 26, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yo, I think it took me 5 to 7 years not to write that, like, no, not to write it per se, like the idea of that, and then to gather those information. It took me a long because I was working, so I couldn't have time, or I didn't have time to sit and write. So I would just write a paragraph because I used to write on Facebook, write some advices and other stuff on Facebook, scenarios, fictional scenarios, write them. Then I gathered them together. 20 started gathering them 2019, then 2020, 2020, 2020, 2021. I was dismissed, and then I lost the job. Then 2021, 2022. I got because I already gathered those things in a sort of a book format. Then I started to communicate with the publisher who was at home. Then to tell that the institute, because it's called Writers Institute, the company or the publishing company. Then I told them I want to publish these things. Please edit for me. Then they edited, and then 2022 I got a job. I worked at, at Old Mutual as a financial advisor. In fact, I went there as a aspiring financial advisor. Yes. So then I worked there for 1 year. I think all those. I think my jobs. I never worked as many except February where I stayed for 5 years. But remember radio I stayed 1 year, call center 1 year, and then February 5 to 6 years, 5 years, 6 years. Then um, Old Mutual. I don't think it was a year, but April, May, June, July. Yeah, I think 6 months. I didn't stay there long. But I remember receiving some lump sum, like a lot of money. Then that's where I published the book. That first book of mine. It is a good book. It's more like what is it? Let me show you this one. It's more like a Bible because I remember it has advices, scenarios, yeah, a lot of things that can assist guys who are in a relationship or marriages, or yeah, who want to commit themselves, who want to get married and other stuff. If they read this book, it's gonna assist them a lot. It's more like a Bible. That's why I will never s- I won't stop, promoting it. And then that's how I saw that I can write a lot of things. I'm a God given. I have a talent that God has given me in terms of creativeness. I create stories. I'm a storyteller. That's why the second book came out about this one. It's called The Killing Love, Love, Secret, and Killings. You see, so this one is a sorry, it's a fictional story. Or and my wish is that one day that drama story or whatever can idea, not idea, but I need to consult, not consult per se, but I need to um we sit down and talk about this idea. It's not going to be an easy thing, I know, because there's a lot of people out there who have content, who have stories to, yeah, film one of those. And I have another two books coming, one in my vernacular, Tsonga, and the other one in English. I called it the life we living. So it's a short stories about the life that we living, different kind of life. Uh, Remember the roofs that we are living under. They've hidden a lot of problems, things. Some of the things that we see on TVs, they just come out when we see on the news. So I frictionize those things, and I hope it's gonna help a lot of people. Um, and then people will have interest. So the Tsangwa one is more like a translation. So I call it Ehanska Jump. Ehanska Jump is under the sun. So same stories, um, different cover or different names, different title and cover. Uh, yeah. So I've left a lot of things, but I thought let me tell you a bit about me, where I grew up, how I grew up, and where I am now. I'm still working. Um, After I lost a job, I created together with my friend, because the idea came. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know what? My friends, all of my friends, I love them, all of them. This guy, Fuman Magaisa, I told him that I lost a job. He said to me, "I don't worry, my friend. Maybe God uh, never wanted you to be there." It will work. The radio will work. On an online radio, we have then we can't say employ, but we invited a lot of people to join us. Then we have a shows now. The radio is growing. We registered the radio, and then we um, branded the radio. Then the idea. Then after that, I uh, I had then we then I uh, we we said okay. She supported me a lot. That one I will talk about that part. Um, um, in the next videos, maybe in the next video. But then we the idea of Valentine Media and marketing came. Then I was what was it? So the the company was to specialize in branding, marketing, advertisement, and the other things. So I named it Valentine Media because I'm going again. So and then yeah, it was a good thing, both radio and the marketing company. It's then when one of my other friends, you see, I have a lot of friends, man, and they most of them they've been part of my I can't say success, but my journey, my life journey. Like Imate, he said to me, I want to introduce you to these other people. Um, okay.